Mach joined the Torrance Transit System in 2015 through an internship program while working towards his master's degree in urban planning at California Polytechnic University, Pomona. While at Torrance Transit, he was instrumental in updating and automating more than 700 new bus stop signs, providing services, planning, and delivery for route expansion and submitting grant applications. He now serves as the planning manager at Torrance Transit. Mr. Mach has led the Torrance Transit Tomorrow Plan, a network redesigning of the entire system. With this project, he conducted extensive outreach by working with the public, elected officials, local stakeholders, sister agencies, and the media to ensure there was buy-in and confidence. In early 2020, Mr. Mach began working with LA Metro for the successful takeover and launch of a new route that expanded Torrance Transit network to potential riders. Mr. Mach also spearheaded and was responsible for successful submission of a $7 million grant application to the state of California for the Transit Intercity Rail and Travel Program. He continues to train new interns and team members on transit scheduling and analytical software. His goal is to train the next generation of transit planners to become more specialized and to help transit agencies provide better schedules for their customers. Welcome, David.
Thank you. Well,
first question is, can you share more about your role at Torrance Transit and what goes into planning the process?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Gigi. So my role at Torrance Transit is really, I began as an intern. I took the city internship while going to get my master's degree at Cal Poly, and I began planning for our bus rail, working with our former planners, our director, especially with the launch of our Line 4X back in 2016. I and my team went on all of those trips on the 4X, asking customers how they would like the expansion of service, and a lot responded that they wanted Saturdays and more frequent service. Especially at that point, the 4X only did a one direction going up in the morning, and then a one direction is going back down with no, basically drop off only at certain areas. So that really has changed. If you take the 4X now, you can get on during its time going up and back, you can get on and off anytime. So, and now there's, with the Saturday service as well, you can go use the 4X, you can go down to Crypto Arena, formerly in Staples Center, you can go down to downtown LA, Financial District, all the way to Union Stations as well, connect with a lot of Metro Rail, Amtrak, and Metrolink. So that's part of what I do planning, is to look at services that are in needs of improvement, services that could use improvement, also looking at community needs, looking at needs of other areas that are potentially job providers. For example, SoFi Stadium, as they were coming in with a lot of the Intuit Dome, the city of Inglewood had reached out and discussed with us how better transit services could be provided to those high generations of trips that are going to come through as they have events, concerts, all of that's going on there. So we take a lot of information around the county, the region, especially if it relates to more people traveling and more trips are being made on a regular basis. How do we utilize our resources to serve these community needs and different needs of the region? So that's the biggest part. And what inspired me to really do that is as my family, when I came over here with my family, my parents, we immigrated from Vietnam in '96, and the first thing I really saw from LAX and driving back into Orange County, because how small LA was, I didn't realize how small it was coming from Vietnam. You know, Ho Chi Minh City, it's like very dense populations, everything is so closely connected. So I always was interested in the land use of space and how it balances out and how it connects people with such a sprawl area. So as I get into my master's degree, I learn about LA Metro Transit System, and I learn about Torrance and getting the internship, getting to know Torrance and its ground laying, the way it operates and runs, and how Torrance Transit supports its residents and people in this area.
What new programs and service changes have been enabled with the transit center?
Thank you for the question. So the Regional Transit, the Mary Kay Giordano Regional Transit Center is something that we are very proud of, because this provides one of the first transit centers here in the South Bay region, and obviously one in Torrance that accommodates 6 bus routes coming in here. With the opening of it, we have the line 10 with the Torrance to Florida expansion that will take people further than initially, where it ended at the Crenshaw station for the Green Line. Now it goes all the way to Inglewood, where you can go to Hitchwood, SoFi. So that's a service that we provided. Also, we have worked with the Hollywood Bowl to provide shuttle service that they typically do annually for about 9 to 10 months. That shuttle was formerly at Glowson Park. It is now at the Torrance Regional Transit Center. On very busy concert day, there's up to 18 to 20 buses that comes through here. A lot of times, parking may not be able to accommodate that many people as well, so we do use the overflow parking. Some other projects in the works that we're looking to add to the regional transit centers there, which we have, went to council and proposed to them as well, is the trolley service. Having the trolley service that goes around Torrance, and then another trolley system that will serve from here at the Regional Transit Center to the beach as well. So those are some things that we can help get people out of their cars, utilize transit service to go to their favorite places.
Next question. Improving service frequencies and reliability are some of the key ways to build ridership and make transit more convenient and a preferable option to driving. What are the barriers and challenges you and your team face when it comes to transit planning and improving services at Torrance Transit?
Thank you, Jenny. I think that's an excellent question. So I think a lot of people are out there always think, come and expand this service or add this service to this area. Yes, we would love to do all of that. Obviously, as an agency, we work with restricted resources and limited resources and funding. A lot of time that comes down to hiring bus operators to be able to have enough to drive, even if you have the buses, or sometimes if you have the driver, but you may not have the funding yet to purchase buses to be able to put the service out there. So balancing that, there's also the other factor of competing needs and competing interests, right? You may have a community who is in needs of service that expands the coverage to their region because they want to go to the Delano Fashion Center, much more frequent than it is now, or you have competing interests where there's a new job generators that opens up in Inglewood, where there's a lot of people that are going to go there. There's a lot of people that are going to attend there. So how do you balance out having services that go to Inglewood versus services that goes to a community that may need service so that they can take transit to their daily job? So those are the things that we have to look at, obviously, and then figure out what is best. And that is often usually how we then reach out to all the communities and all the stakeholders, ask them what they need, have them understand the restraints that planners do have, and have them understand that, we listen, we care.
Between other transit areas in the region, such as G-Trans, Beach City Transit, and LA Metro, what do these agencies do to coordinate services?
Oh yeah, that's another excellent question. So, before I work in transit, I didn't know that there were 20-some agencies out here in LA. There's Metro, obviously, the big player who oversees the LA County service for Metro, and there's local municipalities and we call communities like Torrance, T-Trans, Culver City, Norwalk, Long Beach, and let's say Santa Monica Blue Bus is one of them, and they all have their own services within their city and go out to different cities as well. There are services that may be overlapping. So how do these agencies work together? One of the things I found fascinating is that there's a lot of communications going on different levels that people may not see within the city. There's, our executive director, she meets on a regular monthly basis with other directors as well in their managers meeting, so that they can coordinate services, talk about different challenge, understanding how other agencies are also experiencing the same thing. For example, during COVID or during the bus operator shortage, how do agencies overcome this? What are some strategy? And then on the planner side, like us, we also meet with regularly with other transit agency and with LA Metro. For example, when we launch our service extension for the Line 10 to Inglewood SoFi Stadium, we work with the city of Inglewood obviously to make sure that they understand that we're dropping people up in there, that there needs to be better bus stops, there needs to be better options for people to use it. How do we work with them to design certain bus stops to allow them to get there, but also because Metro also currently serve those bus stops, how do we ensure that the curb space is big enough to accommodate a new transit agency? So we had to work with LA Metro quite a lot on that, making sure our signage are up by the time the services launch, making sure that the city would put extra curb space, red curb it so that people don't park there, and be sure it's reserved for only buses to come in there. So there's a lot of coordination, even larger projects, work projects like Metro is doing for the C&K line operating plan and for the new airport metro connector, LAX Transit Center that they're going to open soon. They coordinate with us and other agency to let us know that, hey, when does this open? You have an option to go into this new transit center with all the bus space that you can have for pick up and drop off, and for if it's the end of your route, your operator can use restrooms and be able to relax there.
And then we'll go into questions from the audience. So from Kathy, she says, what are some grassroots and community-based organizations, Torrance Transit, planners, and South Bay leaders have been meeting with or having discussion with? So it seems like LA Metro is a big part of that when it comes to coordinating advertisement, courage space. Are there any others to expand on?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Obviously, there's a lot of CBOs, community-based organizations, or shorten it, CBOs out there that we would welcome and we would love to work with, especially if it comes to improving your transit experience or serving something that you feel like there's a need that we have not met. We would love to hear from you. But currently, for our transit department, we work a lot with the senior populations as well. We have we work over to People's First. It's a nonprofit group that oversees people who have disabilities in different types and how they get to transit, how they utilize their taxi service, Torrance Community Transit Program. We also work with Torrance Women's Club. Prior to the pandemic, we used to take them on a trip, either downtown LA or Long Beach on our bus, just so they can see how to take the bus. They can learn how to take the bus and be more independent. We have a Torrance ambassador program, which we are seeking people to help be for the ambassador program, and be reaching out to more people so that the importance of that ambassador program is that to be able to go to someone who's never ride transit, like someone who's a senior, they've been told, look, you can't have a driver's license anymore, but they want to be independent, but they maybe feel like transit may be a little daunting to start off. How you get this ambassador to talk to them, show them how to take a ride, how to pay for fare, get a tap card, and sort. Those are the things that we do. We also go to the Torrance Commission on Aging to let them know about our services, or current service and future service, like the Micro Transit Connect Torrance, which I will share once we have our at the fair, or breakout sessions as well. So those are some of the communities, and if you know of the communities that you think we should work with, we definitely would love to get in touch with them and talk about their unmet needs.
I was excited to adopt public transport as a main mode of transportation. It eventually became clear that it would be too dangerous for me to continue taking buses, mainly because of aggression from homeless people at bus stops. Are you planning to make bus stops safer, and how so?
Thank you, Angel. That's some really good questions. Obviously, a lot of cities have been dealing with this challenge of individuals who are unhoused, who are staying at bus stops or rail stations and whatnot. So one of the things that we have done and will continue to be doing is improving our bus stops, especially with shelters and lighting. So if you've seen under the Lamo Mall bus stops that we implemented on both sides, the new bus shelters there is better lighting, better vision, what people can see where you're standing as well. And the line of sight is important, especially at night if you're riding or you're waiting for a bus stop by yourself. You want to be able to make sure that other people could, be able to avoid that line of sight for safety. And that doesn't stop there. We have a project in place that we're going to be adding more shelters to our bus stop. I know that out here, especially, it's hot. It can get hot over summer, and you want to make sure when you're waiting for a bus that may not come as frequent as 15 or 30 minutes, you want to have a shelter be under. So we have funding in place, but I'm putting out new shelters similar to the one at the Lama Fashion Center. In terms of safety and addressing homeless issue at our bus stop, we have our benches that we're working on and have designed to make sure that people can really lay down and sleep on those benches. They're be able to sit and wait for the bus, but not be able to sleep on there. Our supervisors and our security team for transit are instructed to go along about all of our bus route, look at these bus stops conditions, report it back, and also if they encounter someone who is homeless, especially if it's in Torrance, we report and we work closely with our city manager's office who has a homeless outreach program. They can connect with that person who's either have had a case study or a case manager from somewhere else reconnected with them.
I am going to field any questions from the audience. We have a microphone in case I need to repeat that. So are there any questions?
Good stuff. You may have talked about it, but I don't know if I've had a chance to hear. Is there a process-oriented view to how you interact with the information for updating lines or even bus stops, any of that? What's your process in terms of just assessing?
That's a good question. So in terms of updating lines, or let's say adding someone requests for adding more frequencies, we typically get it from someone who sends a message because they say, hey, your bus rail is running at 45 minutes. Is there any way you can improve that? We would then take that information. At Torrance Transit, we have what we call a shakeup or service change. We do that service change 4 times a year, January, April, July, and October. So if we get a request sometimes in between those shakeup, we'll take a look at that, and we'll take a look at the service that we have right now. Whether there's a need for demand, a ridership for it. If with that, for example, a trip that is overcrowded, there are people that may not be able to get on the bus right away, then yeah, we'll add an extra bus to that at the next shake-up to alleviate routing. Obviously, that not only improve our ridership, but it also improves rider experience as well. So we continuously get comments and feedback, and it's not just sessions like this, or if we go out to meet the public, or when we do a major service change, well, they can email us, they can contact us, and I have my business cards as well. Anyone can email and contact me anytime they need. And yeah, the process is usually we would do our service change 4 times a year, and that's the opportunity where we can update